Okay, so the ghost shows up to kind of get Hamlet going again. Um, oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet. And Hamlet says, "How is it with you, lady?" Now, like that's a funny thing to say because this is like, "How are you doing today?" And as if she's been watching him talk to nobody because she can't see the ghost. Um, She says, "Alas, how is it with you that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse, like you're talking to nobody, you're crazy. Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair, like life and excrements, start up and stand on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience, like you're crazy. Whereon do you look?" And Hamlet says, "On him! Look you how pale he glares, his form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones." And then he says to the ghost, "Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects." Like you don't, you're making me feel bad, and I'm not gonna be able to do what I have to do if you make me feel bad. Um, and she has no idea who he's talking to. To whom do you speak this? Do you see nothing there? Nothing at all, yet all that is I see. Nor did you nothing hear? No, nothing but ourselves. Why look you there, how it steals away, my father in his habit as he lived, as his father's wearing the same clothes he wore in life. And he's disappearing now, and the ghost disappears. Look where he goes, even out of the portal, and the ghost leaves. And the queen thinks he's crazy. She says, "This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in." Ecstasy, meaning like you think I'm crazy. And he says he's not crazy. "My pulse as yours doth temperately keep the time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. You test me, and I'm not crazy. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks," right? Don't make yourself feel better by thinking that I'm crazy, and therefore you can ignore all my words. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Like if you don't make yourself a better human being, it's going to corrupt you completely. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Like you have to be a better person, meaning don't have sex with Claudius. Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg. Yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good. Um, she says, "O Hamlet," this is a beautiful line. She says, "O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain," meaning you've broken my heart into two pieces. "O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain. Oh, throw away the worser part of it and live the purer with the other half." Like maybe it's if your heart's broke, get rid of the bad part. Good night. Now, he's going to say good night several times, but it's going to take him a long time to go. "But go not to my uncle's bed." Oh my God, do you see how he still hasn't let it go? A fucking ghost showed up from hell to tell him to leave his mother alone, and he still can't let it go. He cannot stop because he's a crazy person. Um, he is obsessed with his mother's sex life, and a ghost from hell, his dad's ghost from hell, coming to tell him to stop. He can't stop. Um, and he tells her once again, like, don't be a bad person, meaning don't have sex with Claudius. And then he says good night, and then he starts up again, and continues by saying, "But go not to my uncle's bed." He can't stop thinking about her sex life. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Like pretend to be a good person. That monster custom, who all sense doth eat, of habits devil, is angel yet in this, that to the use of actions fair and good he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly is put on. Meaning, like, if you can't be a good person, pretend you're a good person. Like, maybe practice at it and you'll get better at being a good person. But he means don't have sex with Claudius. Refrain tonight from sex. And that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, to the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature. And either the devil or something's a word missing there. The devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. So he says good night again. For this same Lord I do repent. He feels bad for killing Polonius. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind, meaning I'm being mean to you because I'm trying to make you into a better person, a person who doesn't have sex with Claudius. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. Now, you see, he said good night several times here, right? Once more, good night. So again, good night. Just one more thing, one more word. What shall I do? Not by this means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Oh my God, he can't let go of it. He said goodnight to her 4 times, and every time he stops, he just starts up again. This is like the fourth time that he yells at her not to have sex, and the ghost shows up. Um, he yells at her not to have sex, and then she gives in and says he's making her feel bad. And then he keeps going. After he's sort of winning his argument, he just starts all over again. And then the ghost shows up and tells him to stop, and he doesn't. He keeps going, and then he says goodnight, and then he keeps going, and then he says goodnight, and then he goes back to it again. He cannot stop obsessing about his mom's sex life. Um, Let not the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him, for a pair of Arici kisses, or paddling on your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. Meaning, don't go to bed with him, and when he's nice to you, tell him my secret, which is that I'm not crazy, I'm just pretending to be crazy. He's mad in craft, this is a part of a plan. 'Twere good you let him know. For who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? He thinks Claudius is just like a gross animal. No, in despite of sense and secrecy, on Peg, I'm going to skip this because this is a weird part of Shakespeare and no one knows what this means. Be thou assured, I love this, I think this is so beautiful. Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me. And he's going to go to England, and he's going with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and this is the whole part that we know. And he talks about that a little bit, and that is basically the end. Good night, mother. But before he leaves, he makes a stupid joke, because Hamlet loves his stupid jokes. This counselor, meaning Polonius, is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish, prating knave. Meaning, in life, this guy talked like an idiot. And now he's finally, grave means serious. Now he's finally serious. But grave also means he's dead. They're going to put him in a grave. So he's back to making jokes. And that ends the scene. It is a completely crazy fucking thing. And I hope you can see how bonkers it is. Now, what comes next is Freud. Freud has a lot of thoughts on this. Because remember, Freud said that all young men want to kill their dads and fuck their moms. And that's why we like the story of Oedipus Rex, because in Oedipus Rex, Oedipus kills his dad and fucks his mom. Now I know it's like an accident, he doesn't know it's his dad, but still the audience gets to see a guy kill his dad and fuck his mom, even though he does it unknowingly. And Freud says that that's what people want. Hamlet is also, like Oedipus Rex, a play that people love across the centuries, right? There's many years. But what's interesting here is that Freud thinks that essentially Hamlet and Oedipus are like the same kind of character. Why? Because Hamlet is being offered, there's a similar scenario, a fucked up scenario. So let's start here. It's not that he kills his dad and fucks his mom. It's what we have a play is where a guy is told to kill his stepdad, and he's obsessed with his mother's sex life. So that's an excellent kind of starting point for all of this craziness. What comes next, though, is you gotta start asking some questions. Why is he so obsessed with his mother's sex life? Like, what's the problem? Like, why is he so disturbed by this? And I think the disturbing thing comes from this. Who's Hamlet more like? Hamlet Sr. or Claudius? I think he's more like Claudius. I mean, Hamlet Sr. was a warrior and a brave soldier who was like killing Fortinbras's dad. And he was a powerful warrior. Claudius is talk, 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 talk. Hamlet is also talk, 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 talk. Claudius is sneaky plans, pour poison in a guy's ear. Hamlet is sneaky plans. We'll do a play to screw with Claudius. They're similar, which raises an extremely disturbing issue. Oh, and by the way, where was Hamlet's dad when Hamlet was born? Do you remember? Hamlet's dad was killing Fortinbras's dad on the day Hamlet was born. This raises a very disturbing issue. Who's Hamlet's real father? King Hamlet died, and then Gertrude jumps into bed with the brother. Well, King Hamlet was often not home because he was off fighting wars, killing Fortinbras Sr. How long were they having an affair before King Hamlet died? How long before? 10 years? 20? Is Claudius Hamlet's biological father? That is what's making Hamlet nuts? Is that Claudius may be Hamlet's biological father? It's a disturbing thing for him to think about. He doesn't want to think about it, but the ghost may be asking him to kill his real dad. All right, exciting.